Hello, and welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday, presented by Delta Media Group, where not even the Bumpus's hounds can dampen our spirits. So today, we're going to take a look at some of the bulk actions that you can do for customers. So the whole idea is these are things that you can pull up a group of customers and do to them all at once through Customer List. And we've updated a few things in Customer List also of late, so we'll take a look at those as well. So, first off, here we are on the DeltaNET. This is just the agent home layout page, so this is the page you'll generally land on when you first log in. And to get to Customer List, we're going to go down here and expand the CRM menu and click on Customer List. Now I'll add that you can also get here by just typing Customer List up here in this quick search box. We are customer, and you can see we have a number of results there, so we'll Customer List to get a little more specific, and there's our Customer List, so we can get there that way. Or depending on how your tiles are set up at the company level, or if you've set up your own personal tiles, you may have a tile to get there from the CRM landing page also, in which case you would just click on CRM, and then you'd have an icon over here for Customer List. So, once you get to the Customer List page, this page allows you to pull up a group of customers. And I shouldn't even use the word group. I should say you can pull up a list of customers. Why not? We'll stick with the list vernacular. You can pull up a list of customers based on a wide variety of different criteria. And once you've pulled up that list, you can then open them in bulk and perform some different bulk actions with those customers. So, first off, you have your filters up here at the top. So, each one of these drop-downs has its own set of information below it that you can kind of key in on when pulling up customers. So activity is all stuff like when they last logged in, when the account was created, when they last made a request, and you even have some options in here to do things like last 30 days, last 90 days. So just everybody who's made a request in the last 30 days, I could select that and then just hit search, and that would give me that list. And then the rest of these all have the same kind of pertinent information. So customer info, things like contact information, name, phone number, email address. You can do family member information here, so I could search all family members by name, or I could search specifically by spouse name if I wanted to. So I've got a lot of different options there. So this is all that customer specific information. The next drop-down we have here covers their group association or their pipeline phase association. So if you're using the pipeline system and you want to pull up all the customers that are in the suspect pipeline phase, I could go in here and check that box. I can also multi-select in here, so if I wanted to see everyone that's suspect or prospect, I could check both of those and search. And then I have the same kind of interface here for groups. So for all the customer groups I have set up, I can narrow down on those as well. The next thing I can do here is look at requests. So this comes down to the type of request the customer's made. So if I want to pull up everybody that's made a showing request, I could do that here. Under Viewed, I can pull up customers based on the properties that they've looked at or the areas that they've looked at. So I can use this just listing search criteria to fill this out and get back all the customers that are interested in those kind of properties. So that is a particularly handy one there, especially when it comes down to prospecting customers. And I can do by assignment, so if I have the delegate privilege or if I'm like a team leader, I can look at just those customers that I have delegated out to a team member. So that is kind of a neat feature there if you are managing a team. And then under Filter Tools, I have the ability to do whatever I want with all these filters ahead of it and then save that as a filter that I can use over and over again. So I would just put in the name of the filter and hit save, and then I would be able to come back here later, and that would show up in this drop-down menu. So I could just select my saved filter. You can see it shows me all the criteria selected for that, and then hit load, and it will load up all the customers that match that particular preset filter. And then the last thing I can do here in this main filter view is I can choose what columns show up for customers here. So we'll go ahead and remove our filter set here. There we go, just pull up a random list of customers. Take that 30 days off there we go. Gonna clear out all this filter criteria just a little bit at a time. There we go. So now that we have a customer loaded up in here, you can see that you have a number of different columns of information that are available for that customer. I can go over here to columns, and if I wanted to add or remove anything, I could. So let's say I also want to see their cell phone. I could just check that box, and now I have a cell phone column in my list. So I can use this and search even for specific fields and add and remove whatever columns I'd like from the list. Now keep in mind that if I were to export this list, it's the columns I have selected here that would export. So that's why we have this select all feature up at the top. So I can just say select all columns. It'll give me everything for all the customers that load up in this list. And then I can click this export button and export my report that contains all of those columns. Now the next thing I can do here on customer list is go over here to our advanced search functionality. Just click on the binoculars here, and I have an in-depth advanced search that allows me to do things like ands and ors and grouping, so that I can create a really complex filter here. And then just like the other filters, I could save this one and use it again later. But this would be nice for, I want to get every customer that is in one group and not in another group. So I could go in here and say group. As soon as I can find that, there we go. So there's my group. I want to see all groups that are in, here we are, group equal to hot customers. And let's add an additional rule, group not equal to new. So this would give me a result set that gives me everyone that's in my hot customers group, but not in my new group. So any customers that are if I have customers that are in both, those customers won't show up because the ones that are in new won't be added to this list. So there you go. So you can get really complicated. I won't get too in-depth on this, but you can really produce and fine-tune your filters here if you're looking for a very specific set of customers that you would ultimately perform some kind of a bulk action on. So we'll go ahead and reload this page, just kind of start from scratch here. So back up to CRM and customer list. So the idea is that you'll use all those filters and you'll create your customer list, and then once your list is created, you can go through here and you can select the customers that you want to open in bulk or that you want to apply some kind of a bulk action to, and then you can click Open Selected Customers to open them all up at once. Now the other thing I can do is we'll go ahead and clear this stuff out. I can just say Select All, and then it will ask me if I want to select just this page worth of results. So let's say I'm showing 25 entries per page, which I am right now according to that drop-down. And the whole list really has 200 entries in it, so 1 through 25 of 200 total entries. If I wanted to select all of them from every page, I could click on All Customers, and then I'll get that entire list of 200. If I select only this page, then I'll only get the page I'm looking at, which will just be these 25 users. So in this case, I'll go ahead and select all, so we'll say everybody. And now I'm going to go down here and click Open Selected Customers, and you can see that I could do that up here at the top too. So it is limited to 10,000 customers at a time, but keep in mind that this is a prospecting tool. You know, the idea is that I'm going to open customers that I'm going to send kind of a targeted email to, or I'm actually going to go through one at a time and do something to each customer. So now, once I've bulk opened them, you can see I have some options up here at the top, and we'll ultimately go over those. But first, we'll take a look at this section where it shows us all of the contacts that were selected. So this is everybody that I chose to bulk open. Now I can go through these by just clicking on them, and you can see it opens them up down here. So I could click on each one, and that'll open up their entire profile page down here. Or I can filter this down. So if I'm looking for someone specific, I can just type a name, and that'd be first name, last name, email address. It'll just bring up all of the matches, and then I can get to them that way. And it's also an easy way for me to check if somebody's in my list. Or if I clear this out, I can just start at the beginning or really start wherever I want. And I can use this next button to move through them really quickly. Now the whole idea behind that, or the whole workflow kind of envisioned for that, is that I would open up my list based on certain criteria. So I'd say, I just had a new listing come up in a certain area. So then maybe I would run a search to find all of my customers that are in my database now that are interested in listings in that same area. So that would pull up my list, and now I can go through this and I can say, okay, here's my first one. I'm going to go ahead and give them a call. So I'll scroll down here, and if I had a phone number for them, it would show up in this section. So I would give them a call. After my call, I would say add new note. I can put in my note content, and I can select that or categorize that note as a call, and then hit done. And now I've added my note, so I'm just going to go up here and click next to move on to the next customer. And I can just keep running down the line to go through my entire list and prospect them really quickly that way. Let's say I don't have a phone number, but I want to send them an email. I can scroll down here, and we can go down to our messages section. There we are, and I can say send a new email. Or if I have a virtual phone number set up, I could say send a new SMS message, and I could send them a text message real quick, assuming that they are opted into text messages. So the whole idea here is, because I have the entire profile page loaded up at my disposal here, it'd be very easy for me to interact with a customer in any way and then just hit next to move on to the next one. So it's all about making that whole process of prospecting customers faster and more convenient for you. Now again, that is everything on this page. So in another scenario, I could call them and I could create a saved search, leave a note, hit next. So you get the idea. That's how I would quickly run through each customer and kind of prospect those. Now if we head up to the top here, to perform some bulk actions on the entire list, I can go to Communication, and I can click on eCard, and this will allow me, it'll take me straight into the eCard interface, where I can build out an eCard that will send out to this entire list. So it's kind of predefines my recipients for me, and then the rest of it is just me setting up an eCard the same way I normally would. I can do the same with an email blast, so I would click on that and then go through that e-blast. It would enter my recipients for me, and then I would build out my email blast and send it. I can do a bulk SMS message, again if I have a virtual phone number set up, and you would set that up through your profile page. So just as a quick reminder, you can click on your name up here and click on Profile, and that would go over to your profile page, and then in the personal phone number section there is a button to set up a virtual phone number if you haven't done that. So that gives you access to that SMS option. The other thing to mention is that if you do send out a bulk SMS like this, that text message is only going to go to those that have opted into receiving text messages. Next, we have mail merge, which again, same kind of thing. It'll load them all up as potential recipients for the mail merge, but for a mail merge it doesn't actually send. It's just using that customer's information to populate the message. So that is how I would do that. The next thing I can do here is I can go to Marketing and I can add a saved search. Now this allows me to create a bulk saved search for all these people. So again, going back to our example, let's say I had a new listing come on the market. So I pull up a list in Customer List of all the customers that have viewed properties that are similar to the one that just came on. So I'm going to go into this, and now I can go ahead and set up a saved search for all of them for that area at the same time so that they start getting new listing notifications. So I would just go to Save Search, and then let's say by market, and I would just fill out all my search criteria to match what I was looking for. And then I could save that to all the customers at once. So they'll start getting those notifications, and then I could go here to Communication and also send them out an eCard that features the listing that came on the market that I wanted to present to them. So the whole idea is I am feeding them targeted information that's going to be relevant to them, and that's going to help me engage with all of them. So the next thing we can do is we can add a note in bulk to all these customers at once. So I just click Add Note, fill that out, and I can send a note out. And we've got Add to Group. So if I wanted to just group all these customers together in bulk, I can go Add to Group, go here and select from any of my current groups, or I can select Create a New Group, and it gives me a field where I can put in the group name and hit Create, and that'll put them all into that new group that I just built out. Or I can change the pipeline phase of these customers all at once, where I would just go in here and click the button and then click Add, and that would add them all to that pipeline phase. So if I wanted to make all of these people suspect, I would click there and click Add, and that would add them all to my suspect pipeline phase. So, and you can see there are a couple of display issues there that just happening here on the dev port. So, so that's what you do. Go in here, set them up, and perform any of those bulk actions on all these customers at once, or you can next through them to prospect through each one. And it's also just a really easy way to be able to go in and get to the customer profile page for a preset grouping of customers that just is all designed to make my life a little bit easier. So there you have it. So, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or give us a call, and we will help you out with whatever you need. Thanks a lot.